Dottie Davis, 4th grade, and I go to Flournoy Elementary School. First time irrigating. Wake up, my dad yelled. But Dad, it's in the middle of the night. Why do I have to wake up? I asked, confused. Because we have to irrigate, said my dad. What? I asked. Irrigate, my dad repeated. Why? I asked. I'll explain later, said my dad. So I got dressed, then I went outside to the mule, and my dad was there waiting for me. A mule is a side-by-side vehicle, and we use it to go out and check irrigation water. So Dad, what is irrigating? I asked. Irrigating is how we water our hay. Water goes down a ditch, and there are little metal pieces that have a handle, and you pull the handle up. This lets the water get into the field. That is called a gate, explained my dad. That is cool, I said excitedly. Then we drove over to a really odd-looking shape by a ditch. What is that odd-looking shape? I asked. That is another type of gate. That is the main gate. That lets all the water flow through our ditch. You spin a wheel that is on the gate. You use this wheel to open or close the gate, my dad responded. Dad, why do we have to irrigate? Dad, why do we have all these gates? I asked. Why we have to irrigation gates because if someone else had to get the water, we could block the water from getting into our fields. If we had no gates, the water would come to us and that would be stealing their water, my dad answered. Hurry, help me spin the wheel. We only have a few minutes to get the big gate open and all the little gates on the second field. Wait, open all the little gates, but only open the gates on the second field, my dad said in a rush. So I went to the second field and I opened all the gates, except one. It was stuck. I pulled as hard as I could. I pulled and pulled and pulled, but it would not budge. I saw the water coming down the ditch. The gate still would not move. Finally, I pulled as hard as I could. I got it out, but I pulled so hard that I fell backwards. I got up just in time. It was a relief. I saw the water flow into the field. I ran over to my dad and told him what had happened. We have 2 fields. Each field has 10 acres. We irrigate one field at a time because it goes a lot faster. After opening the gates, we went back inside the house. I ran up to my room, got into my PJs, and sunk into my bed. It felt like 1 minute, but it was actually 2 hours. I was getting woken up again by my dad to check water. I got dressed and went outside. We went down to the field and drove across it. And we went over these big bumps. Dad, why are all these bumps? I asked. Those are called berms. A berm is a raised piece of land. The berm keeps the water in an area. There is a certain amount of space between the berms. Each area between the berms has one irrigation gate. Well, the water is about to the end of the field, my dad said. We drove back to the gates. Dottie, go close the gates on the second field, and I'll open the gates on the first field, my dad told me. I went over to the gates and closed them. My dad and I got back at the same time. We went back inside, and I went to sleep again. It was nearly morning. We checked the water again. It was almost done, so we closed the gates. Then we went to the big gate and waited for the water to go out. When it drained, we closed it. Now it is time to give the water to the next farmer. Dad, why do we have to irrigate? I asked. If we do not irrigate, our hay would not grow, and it would not be healthy, my dad answered. Thanks, Dad, for answering all my questions. And thanks for taking me irrigating. Now I know all about irrigating, I thanked my dad. You're welcome, my dad replied.
Oh, they're super excited. That's, like I said, there's students that are ranchers and farmers, their families are, so when it's a topic that is near and dear to their heart, that is motivating for them. And anytime you can do a writing where the students live it and it's relevant to their life, that is huge motivation.
I was very excited, and when she said it, I had all these ideas bubbling in my mind, and I had no idea which one to pick, but then I picked irrigating because my family irrigates mostly a lot.
I feel that in this day and age that people are getting a real disconnect from the farm and ranch to when it gets to their table. And if we can get these students educated on how essential farming and ranching is to the livelihood of California, I think that is huge.
Some students may not like writing, but they like winning, and this includes winning.